Let me break down Warships for you essentially, okay? 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, and 50% pain. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 100% reason to remember the name, and that name is Warships. I'm kidding, that's Remember the Name by Fort Minor, but it goes so well with Warships. Boom Beach Warship Season 65 Tides of Heroes is wrapping up the first week, and what a crazy week it's been. Again, with the diversity of the metas, there is not one single troop, one single combo, one single meta that is rising above the rest. There's actually multiple combos, multiple troops, multiple metas that are getting the job done. In today's video, I want to talk about my Captain Borealis account and my 5 ER strategy, which has resulted in my starter account somehow doing better than my Pacer and my main account. With that being said, Skull Army and friends, let's do this. Good morning, good afternoon, and yes, good evening, Skull Army and friends. It's your boy, your friendly neighborhood SkullCrusher, coming right back at you with another Boom Beach video. And in today's video, I want to talk about 5 ER strategy for Boom Beach Warship Season 65 Tides of Heroes on my Captain Borealis account, and showcasing and utilizing the Bullit, Scorcher, and Zooka meta. And there's multiple metas, okay? Like, it's just not Bullit, Scorchers, and Zookas, Rocket Choppers and Scorchers, Rifleman, Zooka, Mech, Full Scorcher, Scorcher, and Grenadier. Like, honestly, like, sky's the limit. And then not to mention the heroes that you can plug and play. But the troops and the heroes that I have been using on my Captain Borealis account for 5 ER has been Private Bullit, Scorchers, and Zookas. Now, the tech to go along with Private Bullit, the Scorchers, the Zookas, I want to show you right over here. Of course, Private Bullit is the star here. Now, this season I am playing 3 accounts, and this is a great season to play multiple accounts because you have so many heroes to choose from so early in the tech tree. So Captain Borealis has gone the route of Private Bullit, my 3.0 SkullCrusher account has gone the route of Captain Everspark, and my main account SkullCrusher has gone the route of Dr. Kavan. So each account is playing a different hero, which is making the season very, very interesting. And on top of that, artillery is getting the job done for me here. So we're going to scroll over to 5 ER Tech. That's 5 Engine Room. That is 6 Engine Room. And with regards to 5 Engine Room Tech, I have everything unlocked on the 5 ER Tech minus the mechs and the rocket choppers. Now, I do want to point out the path that I did take on this account. Troop health was absolutely crucial for me. So I wanted to make it a priority to get that troop health first. So after we did go 5 ER, I did end up going cannons. I took the negative gunboat energy on the penalty node, and then I picked up that glorious troop health. And the reason why I wanted to get that troop health right away is so my Zookas could actually survive stepping on one mine. Prior to not having that troop health node, my Zookas were dying instantly. So it's nice to have at least a little bit of a buffer zone with your Zookas now if you are using Zookas. Cannons, penalty node with the negative 10% gunboat energy, 50% troop health, and then I ended up going boom cannons. After the boom cannons, I did end up picking up that building damage. After the building damage, we went with the shock blaster, and believe it or not, the artillery was one of the last tech pieces that I picked up in 5 Engine Room on my Captain Borealis account. And now I will be saving for 6 Engine Room because I do not need mechs, and with the gunboat energy, with the tech that I have right now, the troops that I'm using, the artillery, Bullit, Scorchers, and the Zookas, I think I can fare very nicely going up against the RC players, and I've even beat a couple of the RC players. But that's not to say that the rocket choppers aren't good, because once again, with the diversity of the metas, I will be picking up rocket choppers on at least one account here. Now, I did have a pretty epic push on stream today where we ended up pretty much going from rank 17 all the way to rank 19, and we did actually get up to a rank 20 boss fight, which we did lose, and that is okay, because I did end up jumping almost 2.5 ranks today with Captain Borealis, compliments, of course, of Private Bullit, Zookas, Scorchers, and that max level artillery. So I want to break it down for you and show you how I've been attacking with this strategy here. Now, I have to give a big shout out to my sugar shippers, Valor Ghost, Mojo Jojo. It just so happens to be that, of course, the attacks that we will be showcasing, we've got 2 sugar shippers that we have beaten in our log here. So big shout out to Sugar Ship, Main 2.0 and 3.0, kicking butt, taking stars, and having a blast doing it here. So Valor Ghost here, this was 219 to 129. I guess I should give you a decent look at my layout here. My layout is also playing a pretty good role in how well we've been doing, just due to the fact that it's been slowing my opponents down long enough for me to be faster. If that makes any sense. But as long as you're faster than your opponent, that's all that matters. So a good layout and a good strategy does go a very long way. So big shout out to Valor Ghost here. Our first battle here was 219 to 129. And this one, we started things off with Private Bullit and a Scorcher on the right ramp, far right side, with a Scorcher on the right ramp, far left side, and a Scorcher coming out on the left ramp middle, with the delayed Scorcher coming out on the right ramp, far right side, with the delayed boat of Zookas on that far right ramp, far right side, with more delayed Scorchers coming out on that right ramp, far left side, with a final delayed drop of Zookas on that right ramp, far left side, and the last delayed drop of Zookas on that right ramp, far right side. And the whole reason why we're all over the place with the drops here is because since we're not using Dr. Kavan, once my Zookas die, they're not coming back. They are not coming back. So the whole point of staggering my Zookas here, specifically if there's a Flotsam cannon, is to make sure that I've got a proper stagger of Zookas making their way forward here. Because unfortunately, if you drop them all at once, and they do end up hitting a mine, or they all hit the Flotsam at the same time, and the Flotsam goes boom, well, guess what? Your Zookas, they go bye-bye. So staggering the Zookas when you are using Private Bullit, I find has been coming in clutch. You know, not dropping all your Zookas at once to make sure they don't all die at once. Now we've got Stephen Hooley here. This was 206 to 137. So pay attention to the drops here as well. We've got Private Bullit with 2 bolts of Scorchers, right ramp, far right side. 3rd Scorcher coming out as well. The whole point was to take out that Flotsam cannon. Once that Flotty went down, we've got 2 more Scorchers coming out with the delayed boat of Zookas. Notice how we then have the 6th delayed boat of Zookas coming out, and that's, 7th delayed, and then 8th delayed boat of Zooka coming out. And the whole point here was to keep the troops tight on that right side, okay? Pay attention to this engine room on the bottom mid of your screen. We are arting that out. This is where the artillery has come into play here. If you are matching a player that does have 50% building health, it does take approximately 10 max artillery to art out an engine room. If you are matching a player that does have 60 to 70% building health, then it will take 11 max artillery to take out that engine room. But this is all about just farming defenses, farming engine rooms, and accumulating the necessary gunboat energy to art out that ER. Because for some reason, I always need to drop that 4th engine room to get enough GBE to drop that final artillery to pop the 5th engine room. So yeah, lack of gunboat energy, definitely a thing this season, but it is very manageable. After Hooley, we've got my buddy Rohit here, so unfortunately, Rohit did fizzle. Rohit, peace, love, and respect, brother. Let's check this madness out. So with Rohit here, Bullit and Scort coming out on that right ramp, far right side. Why? Because pay attention to that Flotsam cannon up top. That Flotty honestly gives me the heebie-jeebies here. So we've got a delayed boat of Scorcher coming out with that first boat of Zookas. Why? Because that Flotty. I want that Flotty to go down first before I get the rest of the Zookas coming out to play, because I don't want that Flotty to explode and to kill all my Zookas. So since we delayed our Zookas here, actually we barely lost any Zookas, and while all this is going on, we're actually arting out that bottom mid-engine room. And any defenses that are also touching the engine room is a bonus, because we're also picking up adjacent gunboat energy from the defense that we are destroying, while also dealing damage to the engine room that we are dropping the artillery on. So any defenses touching it is absolutely amazing here. I think we needed that final artillery to finish it off there, and just like that, that max art is coming in clutch. After Rohit, we did have Sirkin here. I'm not sure if this is a chicken shipper or not, but this was a 3-second dub here, 135 to 132. Again, pay attention to the drops here. So Bullit, Scorchers coming out on that right ramp, far right side. We've actually got Bullit and 3 bolts of Scorchers. Again, pay attention to that flotsam cannon up top there. So this opponent does have 70% building health, which means it is going to take 11, that's 11 max artillery to take out that engine room. So because we've got that Flotty there, I really want to make sure that that Flotty goes down first before we drop the rest of the Zookas. Notice we've got those 2 more boats of Zookas coming out, and we did actually lose a good handful of that first boat of Zookas, but all at the same time, we're dropping artillery on this bottom mid engine room. The whole point of this strategy is to keep my troops super tight along the top right here. I mean, I kind of contradict myself because we've got those Zookas that actually did branch off to the bottom, but believe it or not, that did help with the farming here. And as Bullit and the Scorchers and the remaining Zookas push their way from the top right, making their way to the top left, we are dropping that necessary gunboat energy as required here. And check this out. We did not have enough gunboat energy for this one. So sometimes I don't know if I didn't count my artillery right, but we did not have enough GBE once we popped that final engine room. So this did take an aggressive flare here. Luckily, Bullit did miss that last shock mine there, and it was just enough mustard in the bottle. This is where luck will come into play, because yes, you will get lucky sometimes in Warships. Let me break down Warships for you essentially, okay? 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, and 50% pain. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 100% reason to remember the name, and that name is Warships. I'm kidding, that's Remember the Name by Fort Minor, but it goes so well with Warships. So yes, luck will play a big part. And then we did take a loss to our Arifino here. Shout out to Arifino here. Mojo Jojo, Battle of the Canadians, fellow sugar shipper as well. This was 219 to 213. Check this madness out here. 6 seconds faster than Mojo Jojo. And Mojo was actually quite aggressive with his attack as well. So Mojo Jojo only had 50% building health on this one. So just like we've been breaking down, pay attention to the drops on the right side of your screen, and pay attention to the artillery coming out to deal with that bottom mid engine room. And shock blasters, I just have to point out how much of a nuisance shock blasters are. They are a nuisance. The amount of times that they just bypass the Scorcher to take out the Zookas is next level here. But again, staggering the Zookas here to make sure that they all don't die at once. We're farming our necessary gunboat energy. That was good flotsam placement. We did actually lose a good handful of Zookas there, but they kept the momentum moving forward. And as we're slowly chipping away at the engine room with gunboat energy, with that artillery, we've got the Zookas farming away the final defenses. Once we pop this last engine room, that was enough gunboat energy to get that final artillery to get the takedown, and that was 219 over 213 over Sugar Ship's Mojo Jojo. Battle of the Canadians. Also, both of us are pretty high up on our local Canadian leaderboard as well, which is pretty cool. Let's go to local for a second. And there he is. Okay, he's hit 20. Well done, Mojo Jojo. Well done. But there we are. Borealis still 16. Mojo Jojo, number 12. I think Chicken is crushing it. Yes, he is. And of course, so is General Electric. The pirate is back, baby. Yo, shout out to Pirate Nation. And then, of course, as we continue this madness here, after Mojo Jojo, we did take a loss to Angry Bon. Angry Bon was just crazy fast here. I did match a ranked 20 player that was on their boss fight for Diamond. Congratulations, Angry Bon. We did only lose 6 stars for that. And then we did match the Pro Zooka. This was 206 to 157. Again, pay attention to the drops here. So Pro Zooka had 50% gunboat energy, which should be 10 max artillery on this bottom engine room here. So we're staggering our drops here. Why? Because we've got that Flotty up top there, and we've also got this Shock Blaster here, which is a complete nuisance. Like, Shock Blasters can really throw you a curveball if you're not managing them. So now pay attention to the Flotty here. I was getting a little bit nervous here, but that's why we delayed drop that last boat of Zookas, because one of our boats of Zookas got completely taken out by the Flotty, which is why we stagger our Zookas here, because since we're not using Dr. Kavan, unfortunately, any Zookas we do lose, we're not bringing them back. So you really want to be cautious when you're deploying your Zookas. You know, scout for mines, scout for Flotty placement. If you're not going to be flaring, you know, take that extra second to do predictive pathing. Okay, my Zookas might go this way, or they might go this way. So you really got to be on the ball. And I like the challenge. I like the challenge of using Zookas this season. And Private Bullet is just the anchor of this hit right here, with the artillery coming in clutch here. The Zookas just make the farming that much more manageable. You can also do this hit with full Scorcher and Bullet. It's going to take much more gunboat energy due to the fact that you're using full Scorcher. And 8 times 8, that's 64 gunboat energy to deploy a full squad of Scorchers. And that's a lot when you're trying to save 10 artillery to art out an engine room at 50% building health, yet alone art out an engine room room at 70% building health, which will cost you 11 max artillery. So absolute insanity there. And then we did take a loss to, I believe that's Kegmeister with his drunkified account, more sugar shippers, and then of course Ehab right here. We did end up fizzling on Ehab, but it's been a lot of fun, Skull Army. For the first week of the season, with the diversity of the metas, I think I've honestly been enjoying the Zooka Scorcher Bullit with max artillery strategy the best. Let me know in the comments what strategy you're using right now for 5 engine room, or what strategy you're using for 4 engine room. Skull Army, if you have made it this far into the video, please do not forget to leave a like. It does mean the absolute world to me. It does help the channel grow, and yes, of course, it does appease our YouTube algorithm overlords. For now, we will officially be wrapping up today's video. We'll catch you guys on the seas for the next live stream. It's now time to make like a Tom and cruise.
I'm an actor.
Peace!